Bendigo, one of the most beautiful townships in Victoria, situated about 150 kilometres northwest of Melbourne, is now celebrated for its art, culture, and rich history. But back in the 1850s, it was a quiet settlement that underwent an incredible transformation during the gold rush. People from around the world flocked to Bendigo, turning it into a bustling hub for miners and fortune seekers. By the 1880s, Bendigo was even hailed as the richest city in the world. Before this gold-fueled frenzy, Bendigo was cherished for its stunning natural beauty. Robert Ross Haverfield, an early settler and editor of the Bendigo Advertiser, captured the essence of the serene landscape before it changed forever. He described the valley as a picturesque haven, with green grass carpets dotted with graceful gum trees. The creek banks were lined with wattles, gently sloping down to crystal-clear waterholes that offered a refreshing supply throughout the year. The landscape, where magnificent gum trees and lush wattles thrived, creating a striking scene. Surrounded by trees in its early days, Bendigo earned the nickname Forest City. The Bendigo Valley was part of the expansive 119,000-acre Mount Alexander North Run, later known as Ravenswood Run, which was first settled by Charles Sheard in 1839. At the heart of Bendigo's story is Bendigo Creek, where gold was first discovered in 1851. This creek marked the northern boundary of Ravenswood Run and got its name from a shepherd who worked for Charles Sheard. This shepherd, known for his boxing skills, was nicknamed Bendigo after the famous English pugilist William Bendigo Thompson. Over time, the creek became known as Bendigo's Creek, a name that would take on even greater significance with the discovery of gold. In 1851, a thrilling discovery changed the fate of Bendigo forever. Gold was found along Bendigo Creek at a spot then known as The Rocks, now called Golden Square. On December 13th of that year, the Argus newspaper made the first public announcement about this incredible find, igniting a rush of excitement. In the 1850s, the Victorian government offered a £200 reward to anyone who could uncover gold within 200 miles of Melbourne. This sparked a frenzy, with many individuals stepping forward, each claiming to be the first to strike gold in Bendigo. It was a time of dreams, ambition, and a race to riches that would shape the future of the region. However, in 1890, a select committee took a closer look at the claims and concluded that two remarkable women, Mrs. Margaret Kennedy and Mrs. Julia Farrell, were the true discoverers of gold in Bendigo. Margaret's husband, John Kennedy, worked as an overseer at Ravenswood Run, while Julia's husband, Patrick Farrell, was a skilled cooper. Their contributions often flew under the radar, but this recognition highlighted the vital role these women played in the gold rush story, reminding us that history is often shaped by unsung heroes. News of the gold discovery spread like wildfire, drawing miners, who were initially headed to the Mount Alexander diggings, now Castlemaine, straight to Bendigo. However, the early excitement was met with disappointment as diggers searched far and wide from Bendigo Creek to Epsom in search of alluvial gold. Once a lush forest dotted with ironbark trees, Bendigo quickly fell victim to the axes of eager miners. By 1852, the relentless digging had severely diminished the area's natural beauty. Hope returned on May 8th of that year when gold was discovered at Eaglehawk Gully, sparking one of Bendigo's largest gold rushes. That year alone, around 4,000 to 5,000 diggers poured in each week. Among them were Chinese miners from Guangdong province, whose numbers steadily grew. They settled on a hill across from the town, located between Golden Square and Viewpoint. Profitable deep leads emerged at Epsom and Huntly, and gold was found at Long Gully, New Chum, Red Hill, and Eaglehawk Gully. Life for these diggers was tough. Many lived in calico tents and relied on simple meals of mutton and damper. However, the profitability of quartz reefing brought a sense of stability and permanence to the bustling settlement, marking a new chapter in Bendigo's history. In 1852, surveyor William Urquhart mapped the Bendigo Creek Valley and chose the site for the township of Sandhurst, located where Bendigo Creek meets Golden Gully. Interestingly, from December 8, 1852, to January 26, 1853, the town was briefly named Castleton before the name changed to Sandhurst. Sandhurst was the name of Bendigo from 1853 to 1891. The name Sandhurst is believed to have been inspired by the prestigious English military college. The suggestion likely came from William Wright, the chief commissioner of goldfields at the time. William Wright, a native of Sandhurst, had attended the Royal Military College, making the name a personal nod to his roots. In 1854, under instructions from the Surveyor General of Victoria, Captain Andrew Clark, District Surveyor Richard William Larrett conducted a detailed survey of the Bendigo Valley. Bendigo Creek and its tributary, Back Creek, run through Golden Square, which developed along the creek. In his plan of the Valley of Bendigo in 1856, Larrett included the town of Sandhurst and the hamlet of White Hills within the municipal boundary. The surveyor's office named Dudley House, built between 1858 and 1859, served as both an office and residence, with Richard and Maggie Larrett as the building's first occupants. Larrett named the streets of Golden Square after English trees including elm, oak, poplar, fir, Lombardy, and beech. The first land sales in Bendigo took place in August 1854 at the Theatre Royal, with Mr. E. N. Emmett acting as the government auctioneer. Allotments in Golden Square were sold, and following the discovery of gold along Bendigo Creek, the valleys and reefs of Golden Square were extensively mined, leading to the formation of settlements in the area. Before the 1860s, Bendigo, then called Sandhurst, was already a thriving town. It boasted a hospital, a benevolent asylum, a mechanics institute, the Lyceum Theatre, 3 newspapers, 4 foundries, 2 breweries, a flour mill, and plenty of hotels. One of the most iconic, the Shamrock Hotel, began its journey in 1854 as a modest establishment called the Exchange Hotel, catering to miners during the height of the Victorian gold rush. It even housed Cobb and Company office and a concert hall known as the Theatre Royal. By 1864, the Shamrock was completely transformed, rebuilt into a grand hotel featuring 2 triple-story buildings in the impressive Victorian Regency architectural style. When it comes to Bendigo's history, one name stands out: William Vahland. A German-born architect who moved to Bendigo in 1854, Vahland left his mark by designing over 200 public and private buildings in the region. His vision was to transform Bendigo into the Vienna of the South, and his architectural legacy still defines much of the city's character today. At the age of 26, Carl Wilhelm Vahland arrived in Melbourne in September 1854 on board the sailing ship San Francisco. Within a few days, he reached the Bendigo diggings. For Bendigo's benefit, he didn't strike gold, instead took up work as a carpenter and opened a shop in Bridge Street. He soon ventured into architectural business. Vahland and his firm designed many of Bendigo's finest buildings, including the Town Hall, the Shamrock Hotel, the Bendigo Hospital, the Bendigo Benevolent Asylum, the School of Mines, the Mechanics Institute, the Princess Theatre, the Bendigo Masonic Temple, the Cascades in Rosalind Park, the Alexandra Fountain, the Sandhurst Club, the Commercial, National and Colonial Banks, the Grandstand at Canterbury Park, as well as churches, commercial buildings and private homes. Bendigo's story of growth is beautifully symbolized by 2 key areas: Golden Square, representing its rise from mining town to prosperous city, and the Civic Precinct, centered around Pall Mall. Pall Mall, often hailed as one of Australia's most charming streets, forms part of the Midland Highway, a major route through Victoria. Its name comes from London's Pall Mall, famous for its shops and grand architecture. The design of Bendigo's Pall Mall, along with the nearby Charing Cross Junction, was planned in 1858 by District Surveyor Richard William Larrett. By the late 1860s, it became home to many of Bendigo's most significant civic landmarks, including the former Bendigo Post Office, now the Visitor Centre, the Bendigo Law Courts, the Shamrock Hotel, and the Bendigo Soldiers Memorial Institute Military Museum. At its intersection with Bull Street, the majestic Bendigo Town Hall comes into view. Buildings and stores were prohibited on Pall Mall initially due to the frequent flooding of the creek. To address this issue, a bridge named Pike's Bridge was constructed in 1857 at Viewpoint, the site where the Alexandra Fountain now stands. George Mackay's History of Bendigo, first published in 1891, describes the state of the Bendigo township in the 1850s as follows. The police office consisted of two moderately sized tents joined together. In one tent, the magistrate and the clerk sat behind a makeshift counter and administered justice through an open window, much like serving refreshments to a thirsty crowd. The post office was similarly housed in two tents, one for receiving letters and the other for their delivery. The Bendigo Bank was primarily constructed of wood, set upon a strong stone foundation, with the strong room made entirely of stone, including the roof. Today, Pall Mall features some striking statues, including tributes to Queen Victoria and the influential mining entrepreneur, George Lancel. It's not just a street, it's a walk through Bendigo's rich past. In March 1879, the first juvenile industrial exhibition in Bendigo was opened in the town hall and temporary annexes. The opening ceremony was performed by His Excellency the Marquis of Normanby. Bendigo's most famous landmark, the Alexandra Fountain, had its grand opening on July 5, 1881. The event was attended by Prince Albert and Prince George, the sons of the Princess of Wales, Alexandra. Located at the intersection of View Street and Pall Mall, the fountain was funded by the proceeds from the Bendigo Juvenile Industrial Exhibition of 1879, along with £500 contributed by George Lancel and £700 from the Sandhurst City Council. The fountain was designed by William Vahland. The Deniliquin Railway Line, also known as the Bendigo Railway Line, reached Bendigo in 1862. The first locomotive arrived in Bendigo on October 7th, and the line was formally opened on October 20th by the Governor of Victoria, Sir Henry Berkeley. In 1867, the Duke of Edinburgh visited Bendigo to a grand reception. Nearly 6,000 children gathered at the reserve to sing the national anthem in his honour, and significant demonstrations were held in his praise. The first Easter Fair in Bendigo was held in April 1871 and was inaugurated by Governor Viscount Canterbury. Sandhurst was officially declared a municipality on April 24, 1855, a borough on September 11, 1863, and became a city on July 21, 1871. A barren site near the gasworks, which the council had designated as a reserve, was transformed into Lake Wirona. The lake was opened on April 22, 1879, by Councillor Burrows. Inspired by this project, the Council of Eaglehawk created Lake Nyanga, which was inaugurated on December 12, 1883, by the Mayor of the borough, Loudon. Bendigo's tram system is a charming reminder of the city's rich history, with its vintage trams offering a unique way to explore the area. Originally introduced in 1890, the trams played a vital role in connecting residents and visitors to key destinations. Today, the preserved heritage trams run along a scenic route that highlights Bendigo's stunning architecture and vibrant culture. In the late 1880s, Bendigo considered many options for its tramways, including horse trams, cable trams, battery trams, and electric trams. Ultimately, settled for battery trams considered innovative at that time and introduced on June 14, 1890. The tram network ran from the railway station through the city to the borough of Eaglehawk, covering 6.4 kilometres. Bendigo's battery trams moved so slowly that passengers often found walking to be faster. After operating for just 13 weeks, the battery trams were discontinued in September 1890, and the company went into voluntary liquidation. Its assets were later acquired by the Bendigo Tramways Company Limited. The battery trams were converted into steam trams by Bendigo Rolling Stocks Company, and services began on February 1, 1892. While the steam trams operated successfully, the company struggled financially, and the tramway was eventually put up for sale. In 1899, the British Insulated Wire Company purchased Bendigo Tramways and formed the Electric Supply Company of Victoria, which also provided electricity to Bendigo, and its surrounding areas. A new depot was built, and the electric tram system was inaugurated on April 21, 1903. After the tram line ceased commuter services in April 1972, the Bendigo Vintage Talking Tram service was launched on December 9, 1972, by the Premier of Victoria, Dick Harmer. Today, Bendigo Tramways is Australia's largest tourist tramway, attracting over 40,000 visitors annually. By the late 1880s, the people of Sandhurst began to realise something important. Their city's name needed to be changed back to Bendigo. There was a strong push to restore Bendigo, because that's how the world knew this famous goldfield. The name Sandhurst had caused confusion, with many outside the region unaware it was the same place as Bendigo. This especially hurt local businesses, as cities like London had no recognition of Sandhurst, making it difficult to attract British investors to the goldfields. A plebiscite was held on April 28, 1891, where voters made their voices heard. Of the 4,978 registered voters, 1,515 chose Bendigo, while only 267 stuck with Sandhurst. On May 8, 1891, the name was officially restored, and Bendigo was back on the map. Attractions of Bendigo. Bendigo Pottery. Bendigo Pottery, established in 1858, is Australia's oldest working pottery. It is renowned for producing high-quality ceramics, including plates, bowls, and vases, and offers interactive experiences such as tours and workshops. The pottery houses a museum showcasing its rich history, artisan techniques, and heritage-listed kilns. Originally founded by George Duncan Guthrie, who discovered Bendigo's superior white clay, Bendigo pottery faced early challenges due to poor transportation and market access, closing briefly before reopening in 1863. The pottery gained recognition at the Melbourne exhibition in 1866 for its stoneware, notably ginger beer bottles. Guthrie sold the business in 1886, but remained its managing director until 1909, when he retired. Despite fires in 1900 and 1941, Bendigo pottery rebuilt and continued operations. In the 1970s, the site became a tourism complex and remains operational today under the ownership of Sally and Rod Thompson. Central Deborah Gold Mine. Central Deborah Gold Mine at Violet Street is a historic gold mine that operated from 1939 to 1954. During its 15 years of activity, it produced 929 kilograms of gold and reached a depth of 412 meters across 17 levels. Today, the mine is a popular tourist destination, offering a range of underground tours where visitors can experience the life of a gold miner. The mine was opened to the public in 1971, and by 1986, underground tours began at level 2. More adventurous tours, such as the Underground Adventure Tour and the 9 Levels of Darkness Tour, allow visitors to descend to depths of up to 228 meters. The site also features original surface buildings and equipment, including the poppet head, engine rooms, and blacksmith's shop. The museum on site houses a replica of the famous Hand of Faith gold nugget, the largest ever found with a metal detector. Listed on the Victorian Heritage Register since 1999, Central Deborah Gold Mine remains a key attraction in Bendigo, connecting visitors with its rich gold mining history. Bendigo Joss House Temple. The Bendigo Joss House Temple, built in the 19th century by Chinese immigrants, is one of Australia's oldest remaining Chinese temples. Located just 3 kilometres from Bendigo CBD, the heritage-listed temple serves as both a museum and a place of worship, offering visitors insight into the lives of Chinese gold miners during the gold rush era. First constructed in 1856, the temple was rebuilt in 1893 and served as a meeting place for the Zhigong Tong, a Chinese Masonic society that supported Dr. Sun Yat-sen's revolutionary efforts in China. The temple is dedicated to General Quan Gang, a revered figure in Chinese culture symbolizing loyalty, brotherhood, and prosperity. The temple is the only surviving 19th-century Chinese building in Bendigo and is a rare example of original Chinese architecture in rural Victoria. Managed by Bendigo Heritage Attractions since 2007, the site features a fish pond added in the 1970s and original structures such as the main temple, ancestor temple, and caretaker's residence. Today, it stands as a testament to the rich cultural and spiritual heritage of Bendigo's Chinese community. Rosalind Park. Rosalind Park, located on the northern fringe of Bendigo city centre, is a picturesque and historically significant park that has become a central feature of the city. Before its development into a park, the area was a natural woodland with river red gums and the Bendigo Creek flowing through it. Spanning 25.6 hectares, the park precinct offers a range of recreational, cultural, and sporting facilities, including the Queen Elizabeth Oval, Bendigo Aquatic Centre, lawn bowls, croquet courts, and a velodrome. Visitors can also explore the nearby Bendigo Art Gallery, the Capitol Theatre, and the historic Ulambara Theatre, formerly the Sandhurst Jail. Rosalind Park's notable attractions include the Poppet Head Lookout Tower, which offers panoramic views of Bendigo, and was originally part of the Garden Gully United Mine. The park's 19th-century conservatory is the only one of its kind remaining in Victoria's public parks. The Cascades, a restored water feature originally funded by mining magnate George Lancel, and the Fernery, located at the site of an old bend in the Bendigo Creek, are among the park's scenic highlights. The park has a rich history tied to Bendigo's gold rush. In the mid-1800s, the area served as a government camp precinct, housing makeshift and later permanent buildings like a courthouse, police barracks, and the Bendigo Jail. The transformation of the site into a public park began in 1861, when 59 acres were designated for parkland. The park was formerly managed by the Sandhurst Borough, and George Brown was appointed its first curator in 1862. Rosalind Park is also home to several statues and monuments, including the Queen Victoria Monument, 1903, the George Lancel statue honouring the Quartz King, and the bust of Sir John Quick, one of the authors of the Australian Constitution. The park's lush gardens, rich history, and cultural landmarks make it a treasured part of Bendigo's heritage. Golden Dragon Museum. The Golden Dragon Museum is a captivating institution that preserves the history and culture of Chinese immigrants, with a focus on their contributions to the region during the Gold Rush. Established in 1991, the museum was built on the former site of Bendigo's historic Chinatown and stands as a symbol of Chinese heritage in the city. It was a project spearheaded by Russell Jack, then president of the Bendigo Chinese Association, with fundraising initiated during the Chinese Year of the Golden Dragon in 1988. One of the museum's most famous exhibits is Sun Long, the longest processional dragon in the world. This stunning creation is paraded each year during the Bendigo Easter Festival. It replaced Long, an imperial dragon that first appeared in Bendigo's Easter Parade in 1901 and is believed to be one of the oldest surviving processional dragons. Dai Gum Long, a new addition to the museum's collection, took its place in the parade in 2019, extending the tradition with its impressive 125-meter length. The museum showcases an array of Chinese artifacts, including dragon robes, ceremonial objects, and intricate jade carvings, such as the Dragon Chariot of 10,000 Sages, which features 188 dragons and 18 phoenixes. The museum also houses the Street Auburn Collection, a donation of throne chairs from early 20th century China, and a collection of Chinese coins dating back to the Zhou and Qin dynasties. The Guanyin Temple and Chinese Gardens, located within the museum complex, are important cultural spaces, reflecting traditional northern Chinese architecture and design. The temple, built in 1996, is a place of worship, and its surroundings are home to statues of the 8 immortals, symbols of good luck in Chinese culture. The Chinese Gardens were a collaborative effort, with artisans from Hebei province contributing to the construction, ensuring the garden mirrors the style of those found in the Imperial Palace in Beijing. With its deep connection to the Chinese community and the Gold Rush era, the Golden Dragon Museum offers an immersive experience into Chinese-Australian history, especially for those visiting during the vibrant Bendigo Easter Festival. The Great Stupa of Universal Compassion. The Great Stupa of Universal Compassion, located in Myers Flat, 10 kilometers northwest of Bendigo, is one of the largest stupas in the Western world and a significant center for Buddhist teachings, meditation, and pilgrimage. Modeled after the Great Stupa of Gyants in Tibet, it stands 50 meters high and covers a 50-meter square base, symbolizing the enlightened mind of Buddha and the path to enlightenment. Construction of the stupa began in 2003, with 4 metal vases containing gold, silver, and precious stones ritually buried beneath the structure as offerings to local spirits. Once complete, the stupa will house a temple, gompa, featuring large statues of Buddha and other deities, and it will serve as a space for pujas, meditation, and teaching sessions. One of its main features is the Jade Buddha for Universal Peace, the largest gem-quality Jade Buddha statue in the world, standing 2.5 meters tall. The stupa grounds include a peace park, which celebrates various faiths, with symbols from Islam, Hinduism, Sikhism, and Christianity. Noteworthy along the path to the stupa is the Kuan Yin statue, a 7-meter-tall depiction of the Bodhisattva of compassion, and the Jataka tale of the 4 harmonious friends. The stupa's gardens will also feature a sapling from the Sri Mahabodhi tree in Sri Lanka. Before we wrap up, there's a little more we'd love to share with you about Bendigo. Known as the City of Churches, Bendigo is home to some of the most historically significant and stunning church architecture in Australia. Though many churches across the country are being repurposed as faith in Christianity wanes, 2 iconic churches in Bendigo still stand tall as symbols of the city's rich spiritual heritage: the Sacred Heart Cathedral and St. Kilian's Church. But Bendigo's story isn't just one of faith, it's also a story of fortune. No visit would be complete without a stop at the Victoria Hill Mining Reserve, where the city's gold rush history comes to life. This site, once home to the deepest gold mine in the world, offers a fascinating glimpse into Bendigo's prosperous past, with remnants of its mining legacy still visible today. Sacred Heart Cathedral. The Sacred Heart Cathedral is located beside the Midland Highway on Wattle Street. This Roman Catholic cathedral serves as the seat of the bishop for the Diocese of Sandhurst. Designed in 1895 by the prominent architectural firm Reed, Barnes, and Tappan, the cathedral showcases the Gothic Revival style, a popular architectural choice for ecclesiastical buildings of that era. As one of Australia's largest churches, it ranks as the 3rd tallest, following St. Patrick's Cathedral and St. Paul's Cathedral in Melbourne. The story of the Sacred Heart Cathedral is one of persistence and vision. The construction of the cathedral began in the late 19th century, but faced significant delays. After an extended pause, work resumed in 1954 and was finally completed in 1977. St. Kilian's Catholic Church. St. Kilian's Catholic Church holds a special place in the city's history as its first ever church, established by the pioneering Father Henry Backhouse. The church had humble beginnings, initially starting out as a simple tent that doubled as a school during the week. It was named after St. Kilian, a popular Irish missionary, reflecting the predominantly Irish Catholic community of Bendigo at the time. The current structure is the 4th church to be built at this site. Designed by William Vahland, St. Kilian's is remarkable for being the largest wooden church in Australia, and possibly the world. This beautiful church was blessed on the 1st of July, 1888, and continues to be structurally sound, preserved in excellent condition. While Father Backhouse may not have envisioned it as his lasting memorial, St. Kilian's Church became just that. He is buried within its grounds, and during the centenary celebrations of his death in 1982, a thorough restoration of the building took place. Today, the church remains much as it was when first completed in 1888, with only updates made to meet modern requirements. The beauty of St. Kilian's lies in its scale, simplicity, and the craftsmanship of its wooden fittings and furnishings, which still resonate with the spirit of the community Father Backhouse once served. Victoria Hill Mining Reserve. The Victoria Hill Mining Reserve is a testament to the city's rich gold mining history. By 1908, the Victoria Quartz Company mine boasted the world's deepest mine shaft, reaching an astonishing depth of 1,365 meters. Just 2 years later, in 1910, the shaft extended even further, to a record 1,406 meters. This area was one of the richest on the Bendigo goldfield, home to numerous successful mining operations. Among them were Lancell's 180 and the Victoria Quartz Mine, which at one point held the title of the deepest gold mine in the world. Today, visitors to Victoria Hill can walk through the site and explore remnants from different phases of mining activity. These include the open-cut mining techniques used in the 1850s and a quartz crushing battery from the 1930s. The site also features mullock heaps, a poppet head, and the foundations of massive winding engines, which once powered the deep underground operations. Informative signs scattered across the reserve provide insight into these features, offering a glimpse into Bendigo's storied gold mining past. As you walk through the site, think about the thousands of miners who, over a period of 80 years, worked the rich reefs beneath Victoria Hill. Hope you enjoyed the video. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel.